First Net Lakers brought to you by your Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Allie Clifton alongside Robert Ory. You did make it back. Big game, James Worthy. He decided to join the starters.
Team player.
Team player.
Anybody who's got 7 rings is a team player.
Facts. You left your other teammate though downtown.
Yeah, he was slowing me down.
He was slowing
me down.
That is not nice.
I don't need anybody to be an anchor, Allie. I'm rising to the top. I got to come down here with you starters and bring you down to my level.
We got you. Jump on our backs. We'll carry you. Just like Luka and Austin Reaves did tonight for the Lakers. Another big win, back-to-back nice statement wins, if you would. After a cold, slow start, we talked about it at halftime. Both teams, really. It was tied at 45 apiece. Big game. In the third, the Lakers opened this one up, outscored the Timberwolves by 16 in that quarter alone. You had his 54th 30-point triple-double for Luka, 31, 11, and 11. Austin Reaves, he had 31 as well. They combined for 62. 29 of his 31 coming in the second half. But here's the big picture. Lakers are 6-1 in their last 7. 17 games to go in the regular season. Tonight's win moves them to 4th, just a half a game behind the Rockets for 3rd, as we pay attention to the standings. And they now own the season series. They're done with the Timberwolves for the regular season. Swept them 3-0. This is a big win.
Yeah, 3-0. It was a big win. Following the big win over the Knicks, where they held the Knicks under 100 points. I thought they were going to hold Minnesota under 100. They got 106, but it was, not important. But, yeah, I thought the cold shooting, both teams. And when that happens, the defense will prevail. And I thought the Lakers collectively, like Austin said, they were on a string. Defense was good. I thought Ayton's play, his activity in the paint in the second quarter as well, and the whole first half really, helped them sustain and stay close. But I just thought this team, they're figuring out how to play defense together and rebound the basketball. So that's good at this time of the year. If they can continue to improve in that area, it'll be pretty tough moving up in the standings.
Rob, would you believe me if I told you that Ant Edwards, who came in averaging 30, had been on a tear, went just 2 of 15 from the field. Not a great night for him. 1 of 10 from deep, 14 points.
I say it's L.A. LA got him. That's one of those things when you have a guy like that that's so explosive. And, sometimes you can be overconfident. I think he is one of the most cocky and confident players in the league. And sometimes you can come in overconfident saying, okay, LeBron's out. Oh, we're going to have it easy. Nobody can guard me. But the thing is, when you play good team defense, like the way the Lakers did, you can shut down anybody. And plus, if you look at this team, it's like, okay, who do you need to really worry about? Ant and Julius. So that is your focus. Make anybody else beat you. And you think about the shots he took, you think about the guys who will guard him. These are tough defenders, RH and Smart. Those are probably our 2, outside of Vando, our 2 best defenders. So I think the game plan was nice, and it's a continuation from the Knicks game, because look how they got guarded Bronson and James' breakdown. It was great. And on top of that, though, Allie, I think the way the Lakers handled the Rock, only had, 6, 7 turnovers? 7. That's the most important thing, because they have a tendency to just throw that ball all over the place, and it was good to see they played control on both ends of the floor.
I'm going to come back to you on this just because you brought up DeAndre Ayton, and I know he's the guy that you've always had your eyes on. He had a double-double at the half. He finished with 14 and 12, but I think his ability to impact in big games like this, match the physicality, match the size. We know exactly what the Lakers look like when he is able to have an effect. I'm coming to you, RH.
Oh, for me, I think, one of the things as certain players on the court, you got to understand how to utilize them. And I keep saying this all year, that DeAndre is an X factor. And the thing about the X factor is those are the type of guys that you have to get them involved early, because mentally, if you don't, they will check out. And I hope it's not the case with him, because sometimes he's involved. And I can tell if he's checked out, because when he's checked out, he's throwing the ball, he fumbles it. When he's not, he catches, he dunks, he does a little spin, turnaround jumper, free throw line, he's engaged, he's shooting 7 for 11 like he did tonight. And that's things that you have to understand. I know sometimes we forget about the bigs because you think the three-point is so important. But bigs are the anchors of teams. They need to hold it down. They need to block shots, because you're going to get blown by. I don't care how good a defensive player you are. The guys in the league are too talented. Sometimes you're going to get blown by. You need to have that guy back there for you. And also, on a pick and roll, if your big is able to get dunks, get buckets, that defender's not going to help as much on that pick and roll. So it's going to make the game easier for you. So they have to learn. They have to use DeAndre Ayton in order to be successful.
He's critical. I think he's critical. You know, he #1 draft pick, Phoenix, Portland, LA. Say what you want to about his career, but when he's involved, it makes a big difference. And I think in the first half they really allowed him to flourish. You know, they got him the ball in the paint. He was successful. They got some lobs over the top after he set some really good picks. They were successful with that, and they kept him involved. So he's key because we need a threat in the paint other than driving downhill and making layups. We need our perimeter players to be able to stay on the perimeter, go into a big, and then go out for a pass. But I thought his aggressiveness was point on tonight.
You also need your stars to be great, especially here down the stretch, given where the Lakers are, where they want to ultimately end up in the Western Conference. So I go to the Laker backcourt. As we mentioned, Austin and Luka combining for 62 tonight. Starting with Luka, it was his 54th 30-point triple-double, which ties Nikola Jokic for second most in NBA history. Wow. He was a plus 20, wow, which is a game high. 31, 11, and 11. Big game.
Yeah, well, he's focused, and you know he don't want to get that tech, you know, so he's just playing ball right now. He ain't talking as much, but yeah, I mean, Luka's amazing, man, and I think what I've seen, the more he's gotten to play with these guys, you know, this is the first time they've all been together, what, a couple weeks ago, but the more he's getting to get out there and play with different people and understand their tendencies. He's wreaking havoc. He's assisting, he's scoring, and he's creating a vibe out there on the floor that uplifts his team when he's on the floor.
Yeah, for me, I just enjoy when he gets everyone involved because you know, it's okay to be a decoy. You know, so many great players are decoys for other people. Drive, kick, you know, think about the guy he plays with, LeBron James, one of the best decoys in basketball. When he drives and so many guys would collapse and he'd kick it and get it to the right position at the right time. And for me, when Luka's doing that, he's engaged and making sure his teammates are eating. This team is so good. You know, you get so many people saying, is this team a playoff contender? When you have Luka, you have LeBron, you have AR, and they're playing as a team and getting everybody on the team involved, they're a very good team because if you look around the league, you know, outside of maybe, you know, the two teams at the top of the West, the Lakers probably, you know, better than everybody else. And so they just have to have the opportunity for the others to step up and have the opportunity to show them what they can do. So this team is a pretty good team, I think.
Do you feel like Austin is finding his stride, returning from that injury, of course? This is now back-to-back games, but tonight, 31, like I said, 8 and 7, but the 29 coming in the second half?
Without question, he's finding his stride, and he's getting opportunities. And I think the coaching staff, you know, they're figuring out how to deal with that trio, you know, LeBron, Luka, and Austin. I think all three of them on the floor together might not be best for Austin, but I think the way, you know, LeBron's out right now, but when they start the substitution back up again, they have to realize that this guy needs the ball in his hands, you know, a lot in order for him to be efficient and productive. So I thought tonight's game was just a prime example of AR coming back and getting back to his standard, his normal game.
Yeah, for me, I always talk about, you know, specials, meaning the people who don't get a chance to handle a rock as much as AR. You know, I've been saying this since AR got here. It's like, for me, you know, everybody thinks it's a disadvantage for a guy to come off the bench. You know, I think AR, he could probably be, you know, 6 minutes if you bring him off the bench because it gives you that 1-2 punch. Sometimes too many chefs in the kitchen can mess up the recipe. And I think down the stretch, when it's the fourth quarter, I would love to have him, LeBron, and Luka in the game this Sunday. But I love it when you got Luka and LeBron, or LeBron and AR and Luka, that combination, because that gives you more of a rhythm of guys can get rhythm, because it's not about, you know, it's a disgrace to come off the bench. It's about giving you more of a rhythm, because when there's 3 ball dominant guys out there, someone's going to be on the lower end of handling the rock. And so when you got 2 out there, you got a chance to cook. So I just like it like that, except in the fourth quarter when everybody's out there, and now you got the other team on the heels because you got 3 guys that are hot right now.
Who's the Spectrum Sportsnet chef? Who's our chef?
The Hall of Famer?
I'm a TV dinner guy, Rob.
Salisbury steak.
Salisbury steak with the gravy.
And back down to Crypto.com arena. Time to hear from Coach JJ Redick, brought to you by your Toyota dealers.
JJ, to back up the defensive performance against the Knicks kind of this thoroughly, basically 4 good quarters of defense, where have you seen the improvement there, and kind of what specifically stood out tonight?
You know, you can talk about schemes and rotations and low man and all this stuff. Our guys have been a lot better just guarding the basketball. And certainly in certain schemes, you know, empty corner ISOs, we're going to directional force a direction on a player. But I think just containing the basketball was really good. And then when we were in rotation, we did a really good job. I thought, you know, our attention to detail on the Randall and Edwards coverage was really good. DA was fantastic tonight on that end. And then the first half is, you know, we really couldn't make a shot. You know, he was really the only one scoring efficiently for us. It felt, you know, the first 4 or 5 possessions, we don't touch the paint, but we're getting good looks. It felt like as the half wore on, we were playing pretty good offense. You know, come back here, we have a 128 expected offensive rating. Told the guys at halftime to just keep trusting in what we're doing. We end up with a 153 offensive rating in the second half. So I thought that end was really good, but really it was, you know, our defensive game plan was fantastic. They executed it. You know, Randall takes 11 shots, 14 points. Edwards goes 2 for 15. Certainly, I think he missed a couple of those threes that, you know, he can make. But I thought the majority of his threes were tough, contested threes.
You mentioned the second half offense, and I know you had alluded to, you know, it was kind of coming for Austin. He starts 1 for 8 and then explodes in the second half. What did you see there, and how encouraging?
Well, the 4-point plays were awesome. I mean, you know, I told him after the game, you know, that's the first time he's ever had multiple 4-point plays in his career. You know, the last 13 seasons, James Harden has 10 and JJ Redick has 4, so he's got a ways to go. But he was able to get downhill. I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's when he's at his best. He's a fantastic shooter, but, you know, he's at his best when he's touching the paint. I thought early on, him getting into the paint, getting fouled, seeing the ball go through the hoop, and then, you know, we saw him as the half wore on, he just got into his bag, and a lot of those were on paint touches, and he hit those non-rim paint twos.
JJ, I have 2 that are kind of related, one micro, one macro. You guys needed DeAndre Ayton tonight based on Jackson going out, Maxey getting downgraded. How important was it for your team to see him respond that way? And then I guess secondly, big picture, how do you just feel like the state of trust that's being built right now among your group? Kind of where do you see that as at? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's great for his teammates to see him have a really good performance on both ends of the floor. You know, I think it's bigger for DA to have a game like that against a really good team, one of the best teams in basketball. He's won us and helped to win us a ton of games this year. You know, during this stretch, there's been some up and downs, but he was great tonight. It's good for his confidence, and I think the trust side of it, you know, it's easy to. I think as a coach, sometimes you're so focused, you know, the word trust, you think of defense and you think of, I got to do my, you know, if you do your job, you got to trust there's a low man. If, you know, the big's up to touch, you got to trust there's a low man. If you're, you know, you're supposed to be in a flood, you got to trust that there's a low man. There's trust there, but the other side of trust is making the right play. And I think now, you know, coming off, you know, some games in January and some games in February, where I don't think the trust was there on the offensive side as high as it should be. We've consistently been improving on that, and it's getting to a good place.
JJ, you mentioned like in the defensive coverages against Ant and Randall. Specifically, how did you feel about the floods against Ant and just generally the, I guess, presentation you guys showed off the ball?
Yeah, you know, the film will show it probably a little bit better than live, but I thought when he was ISOing at the top, we did a good job of zoning up. When he was in the slot, we did a good job of containment with a low man and presentation on that low man when we were in the flood. Did a really nice job of being there early. We cleaned up a couple things at halftime. with the Randall greens, similar but not the same as Ant's coverage. But we cleaned up a couple of things there. And then in the pick and roll, again, DA did a really good job for the vast majority of the game of being up to touch and trying to discourage those little pocket threes, those pull-up threes.
Jay, this might have been a trust moment as well with Luka getting fouled by Kyle Anderson, and it was called just Lakers out of bounds, and he asked you guys to go for the review. Has he earned that kind of call to you guys and your coaching staff to you're going to listen to it, if he's that adamant about it? And just overall, what do you think of his night continuing to put the pressure on their defense?
I actually don't know what happened on that challenge because I was telling Scotty Brooks to shut the up. No, I was, because he does this thing every time we have a big lead of coming over to me and trying to make substitutions. There were 6 minutes on the clock, and I was like, no, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. And then Bo told me to challenge, so I trust Bo. Bo trusts Luka. I mean, I asked him, I said, what happened on that challenge? He said Luka was adamant, and I was like, all right, great, we got to do that. Yeah.
Ayton's man came over to help, and Ayton just followed right behind. Nice pistol Pete behind the back pass. Austin Reaves dropping dimes. Had 11, didn't he? 11 assists?
No, Luka had 11.
Oh, Luka had 11.
He had
8,
7.
though.
8?
They had 19 of the Lakers' 31.
That's nice.
That's nice.
student
Austin
stuff.
Reaves. Speaking with Chris McGee in the media.
Austin, obviously huge back-to-back wins. You guys have now won 6 out of 7 games. I want to start with that first half. Just offensively, you guys struggled, but it was your defense that kept you guys in the game. What's kind of been the key on that end of the floor?
Defending with 5 guys and communication and then effort levels high. We've shown when we do that, we can defend at a high level, and did it again tonight.
How big was DeAndre Ayton, especially in that first half, double-double?
He was a monster. What do you have, 12 and 10 or something like that. So he was the only person scoring for us efficiently, and then just being high energy on the other end, just doing what he does, and that's what we need him to do. He does that. We're a different team, and thankful to have him.
JJ mentioned kind of the offensive physicality that you guys played with, taking care of the basketball, just 7 turnovers, and then with you kind of finding your bag there in the second half. What were you seeing?
Finally made some shots. That's really it. Having fun playing basketball, and we got to move in offensively, making the right play, and things get much easier when that happens.
It's been kind of a strange game the way both teams started so cold, and for you to have 29 in the second half. What did you like about that change?
Just continuing to play, not dwelling over, I wouldn't say a bad half, just missed some easy shots. Tyler made some good plays, but just continuing to play the game.
JJ said that he thinks this group is going to get it. Do you feel like that's starting to really happen now?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 really good wins in a row. 7-1, 6 out of 7, and feels like we're trending in the right direction. We just got to continue to stick to the plan and continue to get better every single day and compete at a high level.
Is that accurate? 2 4-point plays is the first time in your career in one game?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, JJ told us he's done it 4 times.
Yeah, well, nobody cares.
In those 6 wins out of the last 7 games, last 2 opponents have been top 10 defenses, and you guys were the better defensive team. Obviously, where you guys were a while ago, what do you think has made the difference to the group defensively?
Like I said, I think it's just continuing to grow and defend with 5 guys. There's so many skilled players in this league that if you try to guard individually, it might work one game here and there, but you got to defend with a group. You're never going to defend Anthony Edwards with one guy. You're never going to defend Julius Randle with one guy. The next team we play, you're never going to defend. Who do we play next time? Chicago. Same thing. Then Jokic. You can go down the line. All the teams we play, got really good players. So you got to defend with the group and keep the energy, high and communication high as well.
So back-to-back statement wins for the Lakers. As we mentioned, 17 more to go on the regular season. 2 more on this homestand. Lakers kind of finding that rhythm exactly when they need to be right now.
And here's the thing. They've won against some a couple 500 teams, something they hadn't been doing. They're picking up some good defensive tendencies. You got to build on this. There's no more going back to inconsistency now. Not with 17 games left. You got to build, and keep playing the defense. You got 2 games at home. You should win for sure, and before you go out on the road. So keep this going and remind each other that, hey, this is who we are.
You know, one of the things that's not ever talked about, well, it's talked about, but not a lot, momentum. Momentum is the biggest factor when it goes to coming in the playoff. Everybody like, all right, do you have a rhythm? Do you have an identity? Do you have things? And right now, the Lakers are tweaking things and figuring out, hey, you know, identity might be, you know, playing team defense and not relying on individual defense. And then, you know what? Identity might be sharing the basketball, making everybody on the team, you know, usable and a threat. And for me, I think that's the best thing, because if you get this identity, you start figuring out there's no better time to be hot than now. There's so many teams that start the year out hot, and all of a sudden they're going the wrong way. But the best time of the year is to stay hot and make people start fearing you, because then the mental part comes into it, and that's 95% of the game.
That's also right now, because there's still a good chunk of time
good teams.
to feel, the good teams, and to see exactly where you are.
Yeah, especially, you know, if you look at the Lakers' schedule, it's all top-notch teams left, you know, and so this is a good way to tune up your machine, get ready for the playoffs, and get ready for this long haul to try to win a championship. What better to do that than go up against people that aren't slump busters?
Tune up your machine. I love that. We're going to break. It is too late. DeAndre Ayton with double-double against the tough T-Wolves front court. 14 points, 12 boards. Lakers have won 6 of their last 7. Head back downtown. DeAndre Ayton speaking at the podium.
DeAndre, first, just what did you make of the team's defense for the whole game, especially backing up the way you played against the Knicks and kind of 2 good wins led by defense against 2 good teams?
It's good communication.
What about the communication that kind of stands out the most to you?
It was just good terminology.
You had a double-double in the first half tonight. JJ praised the energy on both ends. Was anything that you saw, or was that just kind of playing hard and the results came?
I just played.
Your first, I think, to start the second, you were getting a lot of offensive rebounds and kind of getting the putbacks, but then I think it was Luka and Austin started to feed you on some of the rolls. Could you feel like, I guess, the trust build in those moments after they saw, I guess, how you open up the second quarter?
I mean, you know, just hats off to them. They found the areas where, you know, I was open and, you know, putting pressure on the rim. You know, teams got to decide whether they want the corner 3 or the high percentage basket.
DA, when Jackson and Maxey go out right before the game, just do you feel like an extra responsibility to make sure you bring in a little bit more energy or are a little bit more productive for this team when your guys are a little bit shorthanded at your position?
Most definitely. I know I'm the only big, so, you know, I try my best to stay out there as long as possible, especially down the stretch.
Hey, DeAndre, that's now 2 wins in a row against some of the better teams in the league. Do you kind of start feeling the momentum building for you guys?
Momentum? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Momentum from 2 big wins in a row?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean.
Let's break down a little Access 360 of DeAndre Ayton tonight. Rob, you doing it?
Yeah,
you going to the wall?
You know,
you're actually getting up and going to the wall?
Yes, I'm getting up and going to the wall. They won. I only celebrate winners, and when they won, you go to the wall. Big Shot Breakdown is going to show you what my guy, number 5, DeAndre Ayton, is able to bring to the table tonight. Right here, you know he's really good at resetting these picks, moving around, and making sure that he doesn't get an offensive foul, because sometimes the guards take off. But right here, you see he dives. He takes out Rudy Gobert, which gives Luka a lane to get to the rack, one of his easiest baskets of the night. That was all caused by his active play. And right here, now, another one. Don't move. Kind of stuck his little hip out there, but it's effective. Now, AR has this lane to drive either way. AR is going to be penetrating down the middle, and now he gives it to DA. DA goes to the rack. But what's this? You know, most times people complain about, where's the foul? He doesn't complain. He sticks with it, and then stick it, like James would say. Oh, this one now, look at this. He's staying active. He's still looking, he's bouncing. That lets me know he's engaged. He's ready to move and do what he needs to do to be active in this offense. He looks engaged, involved. Now he says, you know what, I'm going to pound the board. Now look, you got 1, 2, 3. These are your guys. Those are specialists that want to get offensive rebounds. Because you can only win this game with offensive rebounds. Right there, he just goes over the top of the stifle towers to get that tip in. Now this is the play of the night for me. Right here, look how high this pick is. Usually these picks are set to elbow, but right here, because you have AR who can activate so many things to be active going down. It's a high pick and roll. It's a bit of a flare for Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard takes the defense, but this opens up the lane for AR because you got a lazy Steven Genshaw, whatever you pronounce his name, number 0. He doesn't act. He's out there. You might as well give him a popsicle and sit on the side. He wasn't doing much. And that opens it up for DeAndre Ayton to go to the rack and get that dunk because when he's active like that, especially with AR, you know, he's got eyes in the back of his head. You can find guys, and that's what you got to. You got to get DA involved. Man, if I was an assistant coach for the Lakers right now, I'd be in JJ. I'd sit behind the bench, purposely say, yo, get DA involved.
Especially on a night, great breakdown there, when you don't have Jackson Hayes. So it was great to see the activity from start to finish from DeAndre Ayton.
He answers the call, very active. The guy's talented. He's got a nice little 10, 12-footer. I saw tonight where he had some like a reverse drop step, little floater, and he got quite a few dunks. So, and he's a good passer. So yeah, make him feel like he's important.
Give him sugar.
Call his number.
Think about it. When you give bigs a little sugar, they are so active. You think about throughout the history of the NBA, bigs are so important. And when you feed them, they're gonna block shots. They're gonna get rebounds. Everybody's happy. You know what I'm talking about. You was a big when you played.
Repeat after me. Oh, thank you. Was I?
You played center, didn't you?
I was not the center.
You definitely won a 3-man.
I used to tell people that I was Robert Horry. I was the small forward, power forward, depending on who was on the floor.
Okay, now I got even more respect.
But she did have the nickname, though. She did have the nickname.
You used to be a big when you played.
Your name was Mac Trucks, so I just automatically assumed you was a big. Mac Trucks. It
just means I was solid.
As a rock?
As a rock, we need to go to break. Luka Doncic. 30 after that, it's a Saturday showdown with the Denver Nuggets. That's over on ABC. Then the Lakers take the show on the road, starting with a back-to-back versus the Rockets. Then it's a matchup with the Miami Heat on March 19th, which, speaking of, Rob, Big Game and I have talked about this already in the pregame show and halftime. What's your thoughts? 83 from Bam Adebayo.
Oh, my goodness. You know, those one of those things you have to see. I heard 43 shots, 43 free throws. I'm like, and then I saw some highlights. You know, if y'all noticed when the show came, y'all said because, you know, I was chilling.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of attempts. And then were they double teaming them, triple teaming them, trying to foul? I don't know. I didn't see it.
It was. I had to see it.
I just didn't expect it from him.
Yeah.
I would have never bet that it would be Bam that would be second behind Will Chamberlain. Look at that, 43, man. Rob, if you could have got 43 shots up, I might hit 200.
Okay, you get 43 shots up, I'm making 30 of those, man. I'm just saying.
He almost outscored the Lakers and the Timberwolves in the first quarter alone.
And he got 22 3 attempts.
31 points in the first quarter.
And 43, he should have had 100.
That is impressive.
Did anybody else on the team shoot the ball?
They didn't need to.
Yeah. And they was playing what, the Washington Generals?
Wizards.
Like I said, they was playing the Washington Generals.
He gets a statue.
Yeah,
now.
but on the real though, you have to give it up to him because there's some people who could be in the gym by themselves that can't score 83 points. So I'm just saying that's an incredible feat.
I can do it with my heels on. Say less. Thanks. Still to come on Access. We'll hear from Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic dropped his 54th career 30-point triple-double tonight versus the Timberwolves. You see, obviously, tying that of Nikola Jokic. 31, 11, and 11. So we head back downtown. Luka Doncic speaking with the media.
Luka, how do you think you guys are able to sustain the defensive effort and energy for a second straight game, kind of really throughout against another strong opponent, and how encouraging is that for you as you move forward?
It was very encouraging and very special, to play this game. I think everybody that stepped on the court did an amazing job. Everybody fought till the end, and that's how we got this win.
Anything kind of stand out, or was it really much more of a just collective energy and effort from the team?
I think it was collective. Obviously, Smart is our leader in that. He did a great job. I think DA today was amazing for us. And, but outside that, I think we collectively did all. And obviously they pushed us too. And I think we did an amazing job today.
Luka, you just mentioned DeAndre. You guys had no other regular rostered centers tonight. You found that out pregame. How much confidence do you think it gives him to on a night where you guys had to have him, for him to play like that, and then just for the group too, to know that when you guys absolutely need him, that he can perform like that?
Yeah, it's very big of him. I think it was very locked in today. Like I said, I think he was huge for us today. So we need to encourage him to keep doing like that. And when he plays like that, it helps us win.
Luka, I think it was Edwards' least efficient shooting night in a game where he had 15-plus shot attempts of his career, and obviously you've been in a playoff series against him in the past. We know what he can do. What did it take from your group to be able to neutralize him like that?
I mean, a lot. Obviously, it starts with Smart. He was starting on him. But for guys like that, you need the whole team, to stop him. It's not just one guy. So I think we did a great job. Like I said, obviously, it started with Smart. But, a lot of times it's very hard to stop players like that. And we did a great job today.
Luka, I know you mentioned it on the TV broadcast after the game, but what is it about Austin specifically that makes him such a good pairing next to you, and the way he plays that kind of helps you as well?
I think he's just a great player. He's very talented defensively. He gets to his spots. He tricks the defense, and that's why he's a great player.
We're going to wrap things up when we return. Austin Reaves and the Lakers are riding high after 2 straight statement wins.